Good morning, guys. Rainy, gray day out there. It kind of looks like there's a lot of light coming through, but it's very gray, wet, cold day. And I've decided to do something and record it that I've wanted to do for a long time. I actually wanted to find someone else to do it to me, but living up here in the north, there's not a lot of options. What I'd like to do today is a past life regression. I do meditate a lot. I've gone through a spiritual awakening in the last 10 years. It's not a new process for me. On this channel, we do a lot of spirit communication, and I've learned to feel and follow my intuition, my gut. And I quite often, oh, I'm getting a shiver down the back of my neck right there. I get information that 10 or 15 years ago I would not have even paid attention to. We use Spirit Box apps here on this channel with great success, guys. I could give you hundreds of examples of the box saying my name or family members' names, giving us information that turns out to be true. We've done some cases, cold cases, things like that. We did an extensive series, An Unfinished Tale of Murder, the 1969 McWilliams murders here in my own small town. And as I did that, guys, I became more and more attuned to all the characters, and we did sessions on each character and person that was involved, from the police, detectives, to the mafia and mob was involved in this. There was a gang of kids that were, they were all 18, 19, 20, and that experience kind of expanded my mind and how I thought about all this stuff, because the answers that we were getting, and I could give you guys examples. You need to watch the videos to understand, but I got a clip, for example, out on the family farm, had nothing to do with this murder case. In fact, I didn't know I was going to do this series on that murder case at that time. My brother and I had gone to the site of where we thought they were murdered, did a 2-part investigation, and then we were doing something completely different. And a voice came through the spirit box and it said, "How many guns are you going to get me?" A male voice. And a female voice responded and it said, 100. And right away I knew intuitively that this had something to do with this case that we had worked on 6 months before. I said, this is to do with the Jack and Carol case. And I went back and I did some more research, and I'm getting full waves right now. All the hair on the back of my neck is standing up, going right down my back. And there was a robbery at the hardware store, like within the time frame of this murder, within 2 weeks before. And 110 guns were stolen from the hardware store. That's just one example, guys, of something that came through what is supposed to be an app made for entertainment purposes. I use the Hack Shack app, I use Necrophonic, and we have a couple of others. But the two main ones that I trust, the Hack Shack X8 app, which is like a radio scanner, static, and then you get voices that come through. Pertinent replies. 99% of the time, maybe 100% of the time, we just can't put the pieces together to make sense of those. Some of the other ones we say, well, why did it say that? And then afterwards, sometimes weeks later, we find out, oh, okay, this makes sense. But very high success rate with both of those, Necrophonic as well. Part of my journey has been going down that rabbit hole of spirit communication, and I believe it. It's true. It's real. And they do communicate with me. And as I've done this over the last 3 or 4 years, my intuition has grown. And I was talking with my brother because yesterday I did a session in the woods, and out of nowhere, the Spirit Box, the Hack Shack app, said, "Tell Grant," who is my brother, "we need," and I couldn't figure out what it said. The viewers on this channel actually sent me a message, one of them, and said, I think it says session. We need a session. Sure enough, I listened to it again this morning. He's right. That's what I hear. So my brother is going to come here. He's going to bring his water fountain. He has a portable fountain that he makes. My brother runs a channel, Optimal Frequency, which is, he started doing research on voices in white noise and playing with different kinds of white noise. And eventually he found that he could record his kitchen sink running water and run it through AI software and get conversations, and they will answer questions that are asked of them and say his name and my name and all kinds of other people's names in the process. So there is definitely something to it. I don't always hear what he records, but quite often we get the gist of what's being said. There may be a word here or there that's hard to interpret. It's fuzzy. This is not a clear science, but there's enough there to keep me going. So I spoke with him this morning about him coming to do the session here in the woods because there are two areas. There's the creepy corner, which I would say out of 10 gets a 6.5, 7, okay? Every time I walk by there, the hair on the back of my neck stands up. There's energy. There's a huge granite rock that sticks out there, and I think it has something to do with that. They say a lot of these channels that granite conducts energy and has energy in it, and why in that one particular spot do I get this? Is that why? Because of the granite? I don't know. But as we progress further back in the swamp, there is a deeper, darker place where the spirit box apps are not nice. They are always nasty. It always says things. The D word, demon. I don't like that word. And when it says it to me out in the field, my guard goes up. Okay. And so on that note, also, I will throw out there to you guys that I do believe in white light protection, families, ancestors, that we all have a group who protect and watch over us 100%. I have a team that watches over me. They've come through in a lot of my videos and said things. We ask for their protection. We always do a little prayer of protection before we go out and do these things. And I have zero doubt that I am fully protected. And I believe in my own ability to protect myself from the time I was a small child. I've just known things, sensed things, never been open to it, to understanding what it is. Never had a teacher or someone to tell me this. I wish I did, but I'm figuring it out as I approach 50, and I've gone through this spiritual awakening. And enough talk. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to run a video in the background for meditation and regression. And I'm just going to film myself and see. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm a little leery about what am I going to find? You know, what kind of past lives did I lead? I have some idea of my own character, which could lead to different types of past lives. I don't know. But there's never been anything to this point in my life where I say, oh, I know in a past life I did this or that. Except maybe one thing. Because Grant and I talked about it this morning, and that is that I do feel that I have fought in war before. And that I have a great sense of justice within me. And I've fought and died in war before, more than once, I believe. But other than that, guys, I don't know. I don't have any idea what this recording is going to produce. So let's just start the meditation, see what happens.
Recorded to allow you the trance experience of a past life regression.
Michael Seeley.
As you are listening now, please know that it is not my intention to convince you or to not convince you of the literal existence of past lives, in spiritual form or otherwise. Always you are free to engage with this session however you wish. Approach your home from the outside so that you enter and take in all of the sights and sounds, the shapes and textures of where it is that you live now. Take a record of your station in life, how it feels to reside within your home and to be who you are here in this time. And now you may look for other people about you here. Perhaps find yourself interacting with significant others in your life in this space, or a spouse or partner. Are there children or adults nearby? And if you listen carefully, you may hear your own name being spoken aloud, so that it comes to your ears now. And just take this time to witness and observe, making those notes of impressions within your deeper mind.
gonna turn that off.
Move onwards.
Okay. So, in the keeping of recording this, I have no idea how long that was because something happened there. I was very relaxed. I was hearing everything he had. I was going along, and did I fall asleep? I don't know. Because as I became consciously aware again, we were talking about moving through time, 1 year old. I heard all of that section, and I was just listening, and the colors that he was talking about, things went from purple to white, and we were traveling. From that point on, I don't remember. But as I came back to consciousness, he was talking about significant life, and there was a scene playing out in front of me, and I'm just going to describe that scene to you guys. It was the part where he was talking about coming up to your house, and before he was even saying that, I was already walking towards a place, and I will describe who I was. And as I look at myself on the screen here, I was a bearded man, but I was a much bigger man than I am now, over 6 feet tall. I was a big man, and I was wearing like overalls, and it was probably, I feel a little bit older than I am now. Maybe late 50s, 10 years older than I am now. And I was a lighthouse keeper. I was walking to the lighthouse. It was going down a bank. The lighthouse was on the left-hand side. There was houses that went up a big hill behind me, and the lighthouse was down on the shoreline, and I was right at the shoreline. And I don't think I lived at the lighthouse, but it was my job, and I was very dependable. It was a duty that I took very seriously. People relied on me. I was kind of a well-known figure in the community. I got all these senses of this stuff. And it's not like I was creating this in my head, guys, because I don't know if I fell asleep or what happened, but I have no memory of anything before that point after he talked about going back to 1 year old. I don't remember. I didn't hear anything that he said. But yes, I was very strong. I was big. I was strong in the community. I had a sense of well-being and that people relied on me, and I was very dependable. And I had a wife and 2 children. They were coming towards the lighthouse. As I was going to open the door on the lighthouse, I turned around and they were there. And I want to say, I don't know, my clothes were East Coast, fisherman type clothes, overalls, and I had gray hair, grayish brown hair. Not white like my hair is now. My hair is very white. In patches. No, it was much more of a gray. And there was 2 children. A small girl and a small boy, and my wife was much younger than me. And she was fair of hair. I would say she was in her 30s, and I was in my mid to late 50s. And then something distracted me, and I just kind of jumped from that time to me being back on the couch, like I had snapped out of that vision that was coming to me. Abruptly ended. I've never done this before, guys. I don't know. I wasn't dreaming it because I could hear him talking as this scene is playing up before me, and I could feel this emotional attachment to this community, this town, that I'm a figure who gets things done and I make things happen, and people relied on me. That was a big sense of duty, and I was very proud of my work, and it was a lighthouse, which I have never in my life thought that I lived or worked in a lighthouse. And I don't think I lived in that lighthouse. It was just a place that I would go to and spend a lot of hours, and I maintained it And that's about all I can say, guys. For that, I've never done this before. Interesting. Is it just a figment of my imagination? That? I don't know. Did I fall asleep? I don't know. But for a first experiment with a regression, wow, that's something I never would have given a thought to, that type of profession. Or yeah, no, I don't know. I tried not to think about it too much beforehand because I didn't want to color my experience here with pre-creative ideas. Well, I could have been this or I could have been that. And so I didn't really think about it. I just jumped right into this experience. And I think if I had thought about it, it would have been something more, I don't know, remarkable than a lighthouse keeper. I don't know. Is that, not that there's anything against lighthouse keepers, but I have never had a connection with that in my past or family or anything like that that I know of. So strange. And the strange part is I could feel how others depended on me, and yeah, there was a weirdness to it. Like, it's not like you were dreaming, because when you dream, you don't feel like, well, what do other people think of me? And I was kind of looking at it like assessing this guy's job. Did he do a good job? And he did a great job. And also, there was a little bit more, I feel that there was something to do with my left leg twisted as we progressed to the next event in this person's life further down the road. I didn't really see anything. There wasn't like a playing out of a scene in front of me, other than I could feel my own body laying on the couch here, and my left leg was twisted in. Maybe it fell down the lighthouse stairs. Kind of had that feeling. I didn't see that, but something like that happened. And is that what killed him? I don't know. For a first experience, guys, doing this, I don't know what to say. If I did this right, wrong. I don't know if there is a right or wrong. That was the experience. I'm going to try this again at a future point. I don't know, to do the same recording, try something different next time. I don't know. Guys, if you have done any of this, if you have any experience in regressing yourself, or anything to add on this subject, please leave a comment. I'm super interested in this. I think I do want to seek somebody out to get this professionally done to me. But for a first time, it feels pretty cool what I saw and what I felt. So, is it real? I don't know. I'll just throw a couple other details in here before they get lost, because I'm recording this. I might as well note that I spoke English, but I think the guy was Irish. Didn't hear any accents, but would you hear an accent if everyone sounded the same as you? This is just the intuitive feeling I get. English was the language, but was from Ireland, and I believe it was here in Canada, like the east coast of Canada is where this village was. I don't know where, but those were the feelings I get. That was what I needed to add here, just in case. Don't want to lose that. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do here, guys, is I've sent Grant the link for that session that I was listening to, Michael Seeley. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video in case you guys want to try it. I don't know if I'm going to use the same one next time. I'm going to do this again. In fact, I'm going to take a blank page in my journal here, and we're going to call this Past Life Regressions. Number 1 is going to be the Lighthouse Keeper, because that's who I was, 100%. I feel it. And another thing that I mentioned to Grant in the phone conversation was I feel that I've nailed down the time, like I just know, it was 1780s. This was during the 1780s. I don't know, guys. Like, he asked me, well, does the guy tell you at the end of the session to wake up? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't make it that far, because what happened was I could hear him talking, saying, now go ahead to the next event that happens in that lifetime. And I lost the vision. I wasn't there anymore. I was more inside of myself on the couch, and I could feel my left leg just twisted in on itself, became useless. I didn't feel any pain or anything. And I just know that that's what did this guy in. I think he fell down the stairs of the lighthouse. And he was in his 70s, so it was quite a few years ahead. I'm going to say I was mid-50s. this scene, the nice warm sun and the ocean before me with the beach and I was there, guys. It's cool. It wasn't a dream because I could hear the computer playing the regression tape in the background and I could hear him guiding me through it, but the scene was happening. I was not inside. I'm looking down at this guy. I'm looking down at him and his family, his wife and his 2 kids. And I knew all these other things about him. His dependability. This guy was a rock. He was a good dude. He looked out for whatever town that was he lived in. He was a respected leader and he took pride in what he did. We're going to do this again.